Rest them on your lap. You stay with the spine still straight in a line because this is sending up that energy that I was talking about up and down the spine. You may start rocking very gently back and forth, side to side. It's okay as long as it's not too harsh where it's pushing you over. Then you mentally say, ease it off, or no, I'm not going to allow that. Remember, you're controlling it. You're the one that's always in control. If you get feeling nauseated, mentally say, ease off. It's too much energy coming in. A headache, same thing. Just mentally call it out because thoughts are heard, just like you're talking out loud. If that doesn't happen, close your palms, open your eyes, and break it. Okay, in the second half, you let go of your mind. You're passive, but you're very aware. Let it go, do whatever it wants to do. If it's racing into everyday things, that's okay. If you see visions, that's okay. Don't try to hang on to them because you'll ruin it if you do. Just let it flow by. If you get absolutely nothing except looking at the backs of your eyelids, this is great too, because this is where you're getting that peace and calm without any ideas or anything else flowing through. That's beautiful. Sit another 5 minutes that way, and I'll call time again at the end. And then you surround yourself, and this is the important part. You've opened all of your psychic centers. Whether you feel it or not, you're opening your centers. At this point, you're surrounding by stepping into a balloon of white light, or picture yourself in an airplane going through a cloud of white light. This is actually building, thoughts are things, so you're building around you this protection. It sends love out to other people, but it doesn't allow the negativity to come into you. So this way, you're kind of turning down the radio is what I call it. And all of us have these radio waves. You're just turning it down so that you don't get all the static. And you can do this at any time, not just now, but anytime you feel agitated or uptight. If it's hitting you here, it means somebody around you sending it in. Just use that white light. Does anyone want healing? Because this is a short meditation for us. We send healing out during that. If you do, just raise your hand. This is spiritual, mental, or physical healing, all three. We zap everything. Okay, if any of you want to take part in this too, all you have to do in the first 5 minutes is picture the person or persons as healed. Picture them healthy and happy, doing something active. Don't picture them with the illness or you'll give it to them. In the second part, you just let the energy flow through you. Picture a gold light coming in your crown, going out your hands. If it's coming into you, if you're the one asking for healing, you picture it flowing into you. It works. Sounds hokey, but it works. Okay, any questions? All right, be sure your spine is straight. That's the most important part. If you'd like to see what vibrations feel like, if you'll hold your palms directly towards mine, I'll send out to you.
For those of you that are waiting over on this side, if you'd like to try and experiment yourself, place your left hand up just slightly, hold your right hand out, and send to it fairly close at first, and see if you can feel anything. And if you do, try and draw it away and see if you can feel the energy still going. The further you pull it apart, you can do this while you're waiting until Betty gets over to that side.
Now everybody has this. The more you meditate, the stronger, more powerful it becomes. And it's that force that's the healing. It makes a great big difference. Can you feel it in the back of the auditorium? If you think it's just the way your hands have been sitting, try it tomorrow or something when you're just in the middle of the day when you're not thinking about it. It's always stronger after meditation, but you're going to be able to feel it any time. This is why when someone walks in a room, and even though you aren't there behind you and they've snuck in very quietly, when their aura touches your aura, there's the energy fields touching, they're going to know, you will know somebody's in that room. And it's from the feel of the energy. Can you feel it back there? In the back? The more sensitive you are, the more you're going to feel it. Try it at a party. If it ever gets dull, say, hey, I can do such and such. Another thing you can do, we did this with a group of doctors from Kaiser Hospital. We had 22 of the doctors on one side of a wall, and I was standing on the other. And they could tell when I was sending and when I wasn't right through the wall. If your kids are coughing at night or sick or something, you don't want to get up out of bed, just wave your fingers at them and the healing gets there. Really works. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Something's supposed to come out on this negative. And I was supposed to do it at the end of meditation because the energy's the highest then. They were doing it 3 different times. So we'll see what happens. Okay, any questions regarding the meditation? Anything you want to ask that you felt? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. If what you want to do, if you have a problem that's really bothering you and you aren't the kind that sees anything, picture yourself in your meditation period, the second part, picture yourself someplace like at the ocean or something. Imagine a man walking up to you. Don't try to tune in on who the man will be. Just imagine this form coming up to you. Give him your question. Listen to his answers. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be right on. Don't worry about whether it's coming from God, your higher self, or your guide. It's unimportant. If it feels right, keep it. If it doesn't, chuck the whole thing. Yeah, in the back? Okay, the reason I got on this is most women wouldn't listen to another woman. And it's a cinch a man isn't going to. So there's no sex anyway, so picture whatever you want walking up. I'm more comfortable with the man teacher. But use whatever you like. Yeah. Oh boy, kicking, screaming, and hollering. Mine was just scared to death of the unknown. What we don't understand, we fear. And that's where I was. It's like, I don't want to talk, get out of my life. Don't work within a Ouija board. Sure you do. You don't want it. And a Ouija board, what you're doing is you're leaving yourself open for anybody walking around you. If I drop dead, I can walk over 2 minutes later and put my hand inside of yours and start moving your Ouija board. Same with automatic writing. I can stick my hand inside of yours and slowly I will gain control of you to the point I can take over your body. You don't want any part of that. No way. If you're meditating, you're raising your vibes. You're getting it in a higher way. You're not allowing yourself to become possessed. You don't want to leave yourself open for possession. It's okay because all of us, they talk through us. All of us are channels. All of us are instruments. If you've ever had somebody come to you with a problem and you'll hear yourself answer something, you turn around and walk off and you think, now why did I tell them that? I wouldn't follow that. What did I tell them that for? It's because that's what they needed to hear, and God just went right through you. And this happens to everyone. But you do not want to allow them possession of your body. You don't want that kind of control. And this is what happens in a Ouija board's automatic writing. You're not raising your vibes, you're not protecting yourself, and the whole key is not to allow that, but to still pick up the inspirational guidance knowledge without allowing anyone to take over your control. You're in control, nobody else is. Yeah. No. Are you affecting someone's karma, she said, by healing them? What you're doing is allowing yourself to be a vessel or a reed for the healing to flow through. All healing comes from God. We're just the channel, that's all, that lets it come through. If that entity that you're sending healing to, if their soul does not want healing, maybe their conscious mind does, but their soul's saying, no, this is my way to go home. What you're doing then is just usually removing the pain, and they're able to leave without pain. Now, I do healing on patients that doctors send me, only terminal cancer. And we have lost one woman in the last 3.5 years, that's all. And I had her just 2 months before she died. She went right up. She had cancer throughout her entire body, but she had no pain. She never had to take, she was conscious right up to the end. She never had to take morphine or anything. It was astounding. Her doctor just couldn't believe it. And this was at Ross General up in Marin, but it's really something. What you're doing is saying, thy will be done, not mine. And this eliminates you from any karmic responsibilities whatsoever. And I never even ask if it's karma. I don't want to know, because then I've got a negative thought. I feel like it's okay. If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, that's fine too. Because that's God's choice, not mine. Yeah. She wants to know if the aura has color. Yes, it does. And you can see from it how healthy the person is. You can see if the energy level is down. I can pick up a depressed person just like that. And a depressed person is nothing more than somebody who's used up all of their energy. They are so tired, they have nothing else to give. Their aura sits like this. They become very depressed, and this is when they can go into suicidal, because they don't have the energy to fight back with. A person meditating could never get suicidal because his energy would never get down that far. And you can pick it up on people anywhere. The woman I read on a while ago that asked me why I happened to read on her, the reason I did is because her energy level is so down. She desperately needs to build it so she doesn't have problems. Yeah. This one walks with a divine protection around him. You can send your prayers for love and healing, and that protection be continued. There will be no harm at all to this one you call your master. There can be no hurt to another person. If he's meditating, there's a power, and I don't know how to explain this. There is something which goes out that protects them, and it works. It really works. I've worked with prisoners. I've never been hurt. I could walk into if anybody watches Kung Fu, to me this is the greatest, most beautiful show that's ever been put on. You can actually walk into that pit of snakes and you won't be hurt. With divine protection, you have no problems. It can't happen. Just keep praying for them, love and protection. He has this. It is a man, right? Yeah. Very beautiful, too. Yeah. Okay, can I distinguish between the spiritual planes and the mental planes? Wish you wrote one of those in. I really need a trance to bring that through. Because that's one that's getting into a pretty heavy, something that Betty doesn't know. Or hasn't yet learned. Let me see what I can get. I'll try a light trance and see. That which you call the superconscious is actually your contact with universal forces. It is from this higher mind that you have access to all knowledge and all wisdom. It is from this higher mind that you are able to see all truth. The spiritual vehicle which is within man is one which can perceive in many ways the truth of all people. Your mind, that which you call the intellect, is a very base element within man. If he comes from the intellect alone, he will find himself spiritually poor. It is from contacting the God within, from the Christ force, which resides within the heart chakra of all men, that you are able to perceive that which you call the higher mind, the one which is closed on many people. Just as there is the spiritually blind, the spiritually deaf, and the spiritually dead, there is within man the potential to bring forth all these things so that he becomes as one who is illumined. Through this inner searching, you will find that these things exist within each soul, and your guidance onto the higher planes and into better understanding will then be given to you. As man leaves the body in so-called death, he is allowed to go to the plane which he has earned. He may at that time always go down to see those he loves, but he can never go above unless he has earned that in his time spent on earth. You will be given enough knowledge in each incarnation so that you will always progress. The soul will never regress. It may choose to stand still, but there will be a positive growth each time he incarnates. It is for this purpose that you bring into force all elements of the human mind, all understanding, for each of you uses such a minute portion of that which is called the brain. If all these things were opened unto you, you would be totally illumined. I don't know if that answered your question or not. I don't even remember what I said. That, if anybody felt a heaviness, I'm pulling from all of you the energy for trance. And sensitive people will feel it. There's like something comes over you that I can't explain, but you will feel that definite pull. But I'm using your energies. Yeah. In trance, you never remember what's been said. It's like I sit there and I listen, but they have to have me so out of the body that I'm just a listener. But I won't remember. It's like my book. I've tried to stand on the radio and promote it. I can't. I've read it 3 times. I still don't know what it says. It's all over my head, but I don't know. You just won't remember. It's like a dream. Maybe that's the way to explain it. It's like a dream state where you're seeing it and hearing it, but you're not there. Some do. I don't. My teachers are the White Brotherhood. Whether that has anything to do with it or not, I don't know. They're Casey's teachers, and they teach things very simply. Everything that comes through is so simple. But I know he had trouble remembering. I just don't ever remember any of it. Ask why I don't? It is impossible for a channel who is allowing this to flow forth through them to remember that which has been given, for they must turn down their volume in order to allow this message to come forth through her. You will see behind her a very strong light off to the right and 3 feet up. It is through this funnel, so to speak, that we are able to bring forth the message through her channel. It means that she must be as far under as one would be who is on the verge of sleep. It's through this light, through this energy, that the words are channeled forth. In this manner, by having her in the passive state and near unconscious, we are able to bring forth the message in our language and not hers. This is a great aid in teaching, in getting across the message with full simplicity and an easy to relate to energy field. Don't know what that means, energy field. When I get in, then I get curious. You know, curiosity killed a cat. And it lets Betty come in. Could you feel it? Because they're using a lot of your energy in which to do it. Yeah. Okay, he said in our society there is something towards negativity and possessiveness. When we don't understand love properly. When people love, they want to possess, they want to control. Real love is letting go. It's being able to release and to really feel a depth. I've had experiences where I felt a love that's so powerful that there's nothing on this world that could explain it. It's a total union of two people that is so beautiful that there can be no separation. Time or space doesn't allow for any separation. It's like I'm as much with my husband standing right here as I would be if I was in his arms, because that love link is there. It's really learning and understanding that which you love you don't possess. And that's tough because of our jealousies, that's part of the trips we work through with meditation, is to get those things up. It's an insecurity. It's a feeling of, it's so beautiful we don't want to let go of it. But what we do is stifle it by hanging on too hard to it. That's something I had to learn. That's a tough one. For sensitive people, they must hold. And that's a toughie. Yeah. You'd go in the astral plane. There are 7 levels within the astral plane. At the end of this life, he said, where do you go? You go on to the astral plane. Once all karma's worked out, then you go into the celestial. Once you're into the celestial, you never have to come back to the earth plane unless you choose it. I don't worry about it. As long as I'm here, I figure I did something wrong. It's like past lives. Everybody wants to know their past lives. Who gives a hoot about it? You know, everybody wants to think they're so great. If we were great, we wouldn't be here today. We've goofed somewhere, and that's the reason we're back. It's what you do in the here and now with this one that's really important, and what you can make from this life that counts. Not worrying about whether anybody says, can you pick up on future ones? I don't even want to know. You know, yeah. I get feelings about everyone. And this is something, even as a child, I used to know whether people liked me or not. That's a heavy way to live. That's a hard one. Children are so sensitive, if you're aware of that. It's past 9:30. If anybody wants to leave, go ahead. Feel free to get up and go. Yeah, what you want? They're going to have a heart attack. Okay. Okay, if you're listening to someone, if they've asked your advice and you're counseling them or you're rapping with them, you're going to have to hang in there and stay open. It's like I couldn't possibly work up here if I wasn't wide open. You've got to be open to get in heart to heart with anybody. If you care about them, you're going to open up to them. If you find yourself in a situation, though, where you're getting uptight for no reason at all, then it means that somebody's upset around you, and that's when I use the white light. That's when I'll close down. What's happening, though, if you're meditating, you know who it is, you know what's wrong with them, and you just don't get caught up in the trip. That's their trip. In other words, if you don't like something about me and you start telling me off, I can just love you because I realize I'm just mirroring for you a part of yourself that you're unwilling to see. All of you, if there's anybody you don't like, the reason you don't like them is because they are mirroring a part of you that you are unwilling to see. And this is pretty heavy, I'll tell you, but watch it. Look at a person, see what you don't like about them. 9 times out of 10, you're going to find it's something within you that you won't acknowledge. Yeah. Okay, usually their guide will step in front of them. It's like if you're staring at me, another face can come in front of me. Could be a past life too. Normally, though, it would be another entity standing in front. My daughter used to get very upset. She'd say, "Mother, your face is fogging out and a man's is coming in front of it." If you want to see one of your past lives, too, looking in the mirror, looking at your third eye, just standing there with a small light behind you, watching the mirror, you'll begin to see your face changing. And that's scary, too, particularly for skeptics. It really freaks you out. I was an Oriental man. I couldn't handle it. I ran out of the room, boy. Didn't want to be alone in there. Yeah. I'm chicken. This has been a very difficult thing for me to develop all this. Who did I choose? Someone over here. Significance of numbers? To me, each number has a meaning. What, did you get a particular one or something? Okay, 10 is a completion. The 28 would be a completion. 26 is balance. With me, it's 6 is the White Brotherhood number, and I can go to Disneyland or something, and at the end of the evening, I'll get in a little car, and there'll be a 6 on it, and I can hear guidance saying compliments of the White Brotherhood, Betty. You know, we let you off to play a night, which they don't do very often. So 6 to me is always the double trinity or the White Brotherhood. A 3 is very important to me. A 12 is always very symbolic to me. But each number would be, and I use Casey's numbers, his interpretation on those, because I don't know that much about numerology. But there's always a reason for it. Yeah. No, I guess you'll never have any, you'll never go down in an airplane. You, yes, she will. In the next 9 to 12 years, there will be an occasion where she is forced into flying. They're saying, and the reason for it is because she must overcome her fear of flying if she wants to leave the earth plane this time for sure. Anything you fear, you better face. You're going to have to. Mine was snakes, and I won't even go into the long story, but oh my, I had to face mine last summer. It was terrible. I made it, though. Yeah. Yeah, but it's very, very dangerous, and I've worked with more mental patients from automatic writing than anything else in the Ouija boards. I just cannot recommend it from my own experience with them. And there is the urge to go over the 15 minutes, like Ruth Montgomery can do beautiful, but she is so disciplined and so strong, she won't go over that 15 minutes. I've had people call me at the foundation and say their thumb's twitching, they've got to go to the store now. Their guidance tells them, well, now, anytime you're going to let someone else, there isn't your guide, your guardian angel, nobody on the other side is going to tell you how to live your life. It's your test, and if you allow someone else to do it for you, you haven't learned a thing. This is why mothers who protect their children make all their decisions. The kid may as well have stayed out of the body. He hasn't learned a thing. Then they get married, and the husband or the wife makes all the decisions, and nobody grows. Until finally one day, the good Lord comes along and splits you up so that you're standing there on your own 2 feet, and you've got to make it, and that's scary. That's a real scary position. But that's what we have to learn to do, is to be able to get along, standing on our own 2 feet, making our decisions right or wrong. Don't be afraid to fail, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you're going to learn something from it. Too many people are afraid to try or do anything. There's just no purpose incarnating unless you do, because that's how you're going to learn. You're not going to learn doing nothing. Yeah. There is punishment. We make our own heaven and our own hell right here. You can go through a lot of punishment sitting right here, but it's you're bringing it on yourself. The person who commits suicide, it will be his soul that's going to punish him. The soul is going to punish that lower self within us, which said, no, I'm going to cop out. And the higher self says, no, you don't. Have you ever argued between your two selves? I do this regularly. I'll go through the house. My higher self will be saying, now, this is not for you. And the lower self will say, I really want to go do that. And many times I listen to the lower self, and I go off and I do it. And every time I bomb out. Every time it's the wrong thing. I have to turn around and come back. So that you learn to listen to that God within and that higher self, because that saves you a lot of trouble. But it's that part that punishes you. And it isn't God laying it on us or anybody else. It's us punishing us. Yeah. In rare cases, they're saying you could be allowed to finish this off if you so chose, in rare cases. He would have to have such a little bit that then you would be able to take that over. I was told 3 months before my son was killed that he was going to be killed, and I called this yogi friend of mine and I said, quick, tell me how to take over his karma. I want to carry it so he can live. And he had me chant this powerful mantra and surround him in the Christ light, and I had him so surrounded, God just said, hey, he's ready to come home, and up and out of the body he went. But apparently I wasn't meant to do that, so that sometimes you are blocked. Was there any question regarding the meditation? I got way off of that anybody really wanted to know. Yeah. Gold is the Christ light. That's a very good light. Yeah. I would say you weren't concentrating on something high. Concentrate on something happy and joyful. You must be pulling yourself down. For some reason or other, either that or you're just so calm you're feeling gluck. Gee, Manise, we're never going to get out. Yeah. You very definitely need control. You need to handle that sensitivity. You are so creative and so wide open. Be very, very careful. Stay a mile away from drugs, alcohol. You are so sensitive. You need to center yourself, balance, bring about a control. This will help it tremendously. You need meditation of some form, yoga or something, but do it, and then work with children. You'll be very good with young people, particularly teenagers. We're running way over, so I'm going to say I will be lecturing the First Congregational Church March 30th, and from now on the fourth Friday of every month in Palo Alto. Good night. God bless you.